My name is Peter, recovered alcoholic. Grateful to be alive and sober and part of a sacred place called Alcoholics Anonymous. Good. And just want to thank the group again for having me. You guys are super kind. Mary and I are up here on Tuesdays. And from the parking lot to here, there's a lot of handshaking and greeting. And it goes a long way, and I just wanted to let you know how much that's appreciated. Not only by these guys up here and all the hard work Sheldon's doing every week, but by a lot of you guys. And some of you are new and are learning quick on how to greet people. So it goes a long way. I just want to say thank you for that. June 23rd, 1988 is when God separated me from alcohol. And as I've said many times from these podiums, I'm very grateful for it, especially as you get on this journey and the years start to accumulate. And thank God. And you get a little older. My point of view on a lot of things have changed, many things, quite frankly. Not only on my own life, my marriage, this journey in AA, my point of view on God and the work we're doing here, I get to do. This spiritual walk. And there were so many things that I thought, well, at the time they were so important to me when I was new. And I look back on that. In fact, I was thinking of that this afternoon, how irrelevant they really were. But at the moment, they were super important. And I'm so grateful that I had sponsors who were very disciplined, structured. And if I wasn't going to go that way, then they would tell me find another sponsor. I had one sponsor out of Texas. He says, my job is to get you as independent of me as quick as possible and dependent upon God. And the way we're going to do that is you're going to follow instructions or you get another sponsor. And that was like at attention. And he got my attention. And what I heard in my mind was, I don't like you and I'm trying to get rid of you. That's how I interpreted that. And he turned out to be my greatest teacher ever. So it was about being disciplined to a spiritual life. And only desperation was going to bring me there. My current sponsor is Bob Bazana of St. Paul, Minnesota. And by the way, my home group is No Problem, Just Solutions, Wednesday night in Boca Raton, which is one of my favorite places to be. But I learned quickly about in discipline there's freedom. And I think I shared last week, discipline weighs an ounce and the regrets for not having discipline weigh a ton. And so desperation brought me to a place of paying attention to these teachers, these sponsors. And they were no nonsense. That worked for me. It didn't work for everyone. A lot of people in Brooklyn where I got sober weren't very fond of my very first sponsor because he was too much in the book. You ask him how the weather was, he's go to page 27, he'll tell you. He was, it was like, and no matter what, I told him, I said, what does your big book say? What does the big book say? What does the big book say? And it took a while for me to shift into that and cut away all my lack of discipline, but desperation kept me going. Where I currently am, I still love mechanics. I'm still disciplined to 10 and 11. I'm just not married to them anymore. And there was a time on this journey I was married to them, and I don't have any regrets. It's where I was. It got me here tonight in front of you. There were a point in my journey, I started a home group in Union, New Jersey, and there was a book study. And if someone misquoted the book, you were going to hear it from me after the meeting. You can't misquote the book in this group, which is, I look at it, it's kind of silly and immature, but it's where I was. And again, I really don't have any regrets about it because it got me where I am right now. And I've come to experience and to understand that for me, my book, which I thought was the treasure, is the treasure map. It takes me to the treasure, and that is God. Now, I had a lot of information about God growing up as a cradle Catholic and things my mom taught me in my in and out times of church that meant nothing against alcoholism because information, there's something Thomas Merton said, knowledge received intellectually provides no nourishment for the soul. So I could have lots of information and be Looney Tunes. What I needed was a transformation with the information that was being presented to me. And so I begin this journey, and right out of the gate, my first sponsor, I was beginning step 4, and he had me doing what we call 10 steps. Now, I'm not going to get into writing or not writing. That's a discussion after the meeting. I'll just share how I was brought up. We wrote out 10 steps. And where I am right now is I still write them out if I'm hooked. If I can't get rid of a fear or resentment, I'll pray, I'll put it on paper, I follow the instructions in the book, and I'll discuss it with someone immediately. Sometimes my 10 steps are just, I'll give someone calls, I got an inventory for you, and we talk about it. But I was brought up on writing 10 steps, and it kept me out of my own mind and kept me disciplined to writing inventory and then discussing. And so I was brought up this way right away. Now, I didn't realize the value in a 10-step, where it's a daily 4 through 9. And the first time I ever heard that was by these 2 guys, Joe and Charlie, and I asked my sponsor, what does that mean? He's, when you get there, you'll find out, but I'll explain to you exactly what they're talking about. That when I'm doing step 10, I'm doing an inventory, I'm discussing, I'm looking at my defects of character, and sometimes there's an amends to be made. It's 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9 daily, which keeps the eraser board fairly clean. My experience has been this. Lots of times I get calls from even guys I'm sponsoring, and sometimes I just get calls from folks who are in AA, and they're what we like to call jammed up. Life is eating at them. It became their master for that day or for the last few weeks. And they're riddled with fear. They're riddled with resentments. In fact, they can't even identify where they're at. They just know they're not good. And I'll ask them, we'll talk about it, and I'll ask them, what does your 10 and 11 look like? It's usually preceded with the first question, who's your sponsor? Do you have a sponsor? And they go, well, that means you don't have one. Yeah. And so, okay, that's a huge hole in the armor, big blast right through the armor. And then I'll ask you, well, what does 11 look like? And there's another pause, which means it's probably non-existent. It's kind of checking in the morning, which is probably while they're doing Facebook and having a cup of coffee and hi God, and that's enough. And there's nothing else during the day. And I've always used the example, I wake up at 5 a.m., go to bed, say, around 11. Now, how many hours that is? About maybe 15 hours or something. It's a lot of hours. But if I spend an hour in the morning, and if I spent an hour at night, that's 2 hours out of an entire day of circulating around people. It's a good possibility I should check in with God throughout the day to make sure I still have his armor on me and I'm turning in order to go out. Because if I don't turn in, I'll go without. So I get a lot of these folks who call me up, bless their heart, and they're a mess. And when I ask them about a 10-step, no clue. And they've settled for just going to meetings. Now, if that floats your boat and you're joyous, happy, and free at time, I'm not here to change it. But I'm talking to folks that I've experienced and how I was at the beginning with no life of inventory, no self-investigation as to really what's going on and to locate once again me as the common thread through all the nonsense. Yeah, I'm the common denominator, and the unmanageability over and over and over again is an internal condition, never an external one. How I'm navigating through a very volatile world, or maybe just how I'm navigating through my own home life. How am I doing? Selfish, self-centered, self-seeking, self-absorbed, self. That's how I operate without God. So if I don't have a good spiritual life, if I don't have any spiritual muscles, or they're feeble, I'm going to navigate in my home occupation affairs by me, what I say to do, which means they're going to get my selfishness, my self-centered, my self-seeking, my violent, my anger, my temper. They're going to get all of it until I walk into home group, and then I turn into Moses. And everything's lovely. How are you? Everything's cool. Yeah. How I am in public should look like how I am here. I can't be an AA angel and a house devil. How's that look? And I'm not talking about perfect. And I have found over and over again that's inventory works. there's something that really touched me. It really located a truth for me. That suffering comes from the acceptance of a self that God never created. I'm going to say that again. Suffering comes from a self that God never created. The false self, not what we like to call an authentic self, the true person that God created. We have this false self, these false identities that the mind assigns to me. I should be doing this. I should look this way. I should have this type of body. I should be living here. I should have this type of money. I should be driving this type of car. I should all over myself all day long. It's the different roles I've assigned me, not the one God has assigned me. It's a false sense of self. It's been given to me by programming from the time I was this high, conditioning, social media nowadays, TV, friends, family, social mores, what I learned in school. They all have an impact on me, and I buy into all of them. So no matter where I am, I should be there. And I go there, I should be there. I have this, I should own that. And I'm always striving, but I'm never arriving. I'm always restless and discontented. Because alone, how I feel on my own is just that. On my own, alone, I'm weak, I'm feeble, I'm vibrating going through life. And the very same mind that creates all of this problem, is the same mind that says, hey, Pete, got a solution. We need to get more security. We need to get more prestige. We need to get more money. We need to get a new relationship. And I get there and it doesn't work out. I have a new relationship, a new car, and a lot of money, and I'm still miserable. And now all that does is drive me deeper into a place of, oh my God, I'm alone again. I'm sitting on the top of a hill with a bucket of money and a new relationship, and I want to jump. It's the false self. Inventory bulldozes the whole thing if I'm regular with my inventory, because I get to see me plotting my life out. I get to list my resentments daily when I have a resentment, when I'm agitated about someone or something, or the fears that kick up, because they're going to kick up. My human condition. I'll have this mind until God gives me my last breath. There's an old expression that says it makes a wonderful servant, but a terrible master. And in most cases, my mind would be my master. It tells me what to do, and I listen. I believe it. Now, if you presented me with the stuff your mind is telling, I would say, Joe, Mary, that's crazy. That's delusional. But when I have it, it's the truth, because it's mine, which gives it power, and then it owns me. And as soon as I have found, because I've done this, as soon as I look out there for security, for an okayness, that out there now owns me, rather than getting right with God. The mind will never tell me what the truth is, and that is God. The truth will set you free. Know the truth, and the truth will set me free. What is the truth? That I'm 5'11"? I weigh too much? I'm born in Brooklyn. Those are things. A truth. We're born, we die, we got to pay taxes, need a roof overhead. That's not the truth we're talking about. Know the truth, and the truth will set you free. What is the truth? The truth is God. Know God, and I'm free. Have an experience with this God, and I'm free. I'm wearing the world like a loose garment rather than weighing me down. Inventory allows me to do that. I get to experience oneness with that power who fears nothing. God doesn't have fear. I forget that I get to walk with God, that God's in my DNA and your DNA. I lose that because of this mind is attached to everything out there. Because when I get that, I'm going to be okay. When I do this, I'll be really spiritual. I see a lot of folks nowadays. I get out speaking a lot, and I see a lot of folks, well, some folks, who their home group has become the podium. And they're out there basically marketing themselves. I'm sure you see it. Marketing themselves, promoting themselves to get another talk. This is deadly. It's, I need this to get validated, rather than being just a spoke in a wheel. because there's nothing happening between me and this power. Again, if I was doing a 10-step followed by an 11-step, having a disciplined life to 10 and 11 and loving the effect produced by it, life is going to come at me. It's not going to change circumstances. How I navigate through it is going to change greatly. I get to feel freedom in some adverse conditions. I get to wear the world like a loose garment. I don't have to take my day out on my spouse because I had a tough day today. I have to take it out on my children or kick the dog. And then pretend when I walk into an AA meeting that I'm just doing lovely when I'm really, really not. In fact, traveling light allows me to be transparent and tell my sponsor, I didn't do good today. Fear, I'm afraid again. My money isn't good and I'm afraid. I see myself homeless in a week. I just lost a job. Who's going to hire? I've done all of this. And I'll give you a quick story of a 10-step. I may have shared this once before. My wife and I have worked together for a while. We weren't married just yet. And I'll never forget this. We were over in Deerfield Beach. And at around 3 o'clock, I'd leave my office and go over to see Marion, have a cup of coffee. She had a day shaped up, and because I was like my program, I was in charge of it. I wanted to make sure all the dots were connected, and how she was doing, and I have a cup of coffee, and we usually spend a few minutes and go back to the office, and the day be over. And I walked into the office one time, and Marion was crying. I said, "What's going on?" She said, "I don't want to tell you." I said, "No, you need to tell me. What's happening?" And apparently, the owner of this place, I'll leave my opinion out of it, but I never treated women as second class in my life. And he still had to work up to that. Mm. And so he thought it was his right to bully her. And when she told me, in a hot second, I'm planning to go to jail that night. Because in a hot second, I had to defend her. I had to defend my own manhood. Pride and ego shot out. And I'll be right back, I told her. And I was going to his office. Now, I don't know what I was going to do, but I know what I was planning to do. And I said, I'm definitely getting fired in about an hour, and I'm probably going to get arrested. That's what I'm planning. That's what this head has. I get into my car, and I'm steaming. And as I've always said, God has a way of ruining my plans and designs. Because this little voice went off, and it was kind of like this. What are you doing? Not now, God, I'm busy. I got things, the Rambo's about to run the show. And I got stuck in that. And I am angrier now that I'm paying attention to God. I can't get away from it. I better call my sponsor. I don't want to call. I hit my phone, and Mickey Mussett was my sponsor, and I'm going 100 miles an hour. Hello, Peter, and I just, boom. He said, what's going on? And I can't even catch up to myself. I'm livid. And he says, let's pray first. So he prayed over the phone with me. Let's do a 10-step. Who are you angry with? Joe. Why? I told him, what it affected you? Now, I'm seething while he's doing this. My pride, my personal relation, my self-esteem, my security, my ambition, my pocketbook, and my sex relations. Real men defend their ladies. Go to war. There's more guys in jail right now for that reason for a long, long time. Let's do the fourth column. Where you're selfish, dishonest, self-seeking, and frightened. Now I'm breathing. And he starts to talk to me. And he says, don't you think your place right now should be in the office consoling Marion rather than going and get arrested? He prayed again. I knew he was right. I turned the car off, and I sat with Marion. We left. A short time later, we resigned. We got out of there. I had a long day because I'm still, going in and out of that. Anger is a dubious luxury of normal men. When I got home, I had to write out that inventory per my sponsors. Write this out. And then he called me, and we went through it again. The next day, it was gone. I had some remnants of it, little residue on it to walk into work. But that didn't own me anymore. And my selfishness was, I was going to defend her, but I was really defending me. You can't do this to me. And I was about to make a stupid move, make a permanent decision on a temporary feeling. That person, bless their heart, is no longer in our life. We didn't even see this person, and she and I are doing just fine. A 10-step. So my sponsors would have me write out these 10 steps. I like nice things. My mind needs nice things. My mind turns something that I need, like I want to get a new car. I want to get a new house. I want to go on vacation. My mind turns those into needs. We need a new car when I don't. I need new clothes when I don't. And I start to make decisions based off of this false guy, this false self, who doesn't even exist. In fact, Merton even talks about this false sense of self that my mind creates, wants to live autonomously, wants to be its own body, doesn't even want God to know about it. And to have too much privacy from God is not really a good thing. That's why I keep bumping into people. So I write out this 10 step. I've done it forever. And sometimes I'll do this early in the morning. You know, on awakening, I do my 11 step and I'm kind of pooping around, and then something hits the horizon. A phone call, a thought about something, a fear about something. I don't have the luxury of hanging out till tonight to do the 11 step review. In fact, if I'm active with 10, my 11 step writing out, there's very little to do with writing. I've covered everything during the day. There's not much to do other than prayer and meditation. I'm not answering 100 questions in the 11th step, or how many questions there are, because I've been active with step 10. I'm traveling light rather than traveling heavy. Now, there's some incredible information in step 10. And I just want to share, because I think someone had a white chip tonight. If I was the mayor of AA, instead of reading how it works, where most of us don't even pay attention to it, it's background music, and I'm sitting at a meeting, and forgive me for, I don't want to be an authority here, but I'm sitting in a meeting, and I got a day back, and it's on me. And I'm looking at the clock saying it's 10 after 9. This meeting ends in 20 minutes. How am I going to make it till tomorrow? I'm walking into a liquor store. How much longer is this thing going to be screaming at me? When does it go away? And if I don't drink, I'm doing drugs, or I'm doing both, I'm doing something. I am not going back to my bunk and going to sleep. I need juice. I did this with the new guy one time who was vibrating. And it says this, and we like to read it in the first person. If you're reading it, it has more of an impact. I've ceased fighting anything or anyone, even alcohol, for by this time sanity has returned. In step 2, we talked about getting to this place. Step 10 is delivered. I'm operating out of wholeness of mind now. I'm living in the truth, which means I'm not getting drunk, because I've gotten some soul food. I've gotten some spiritual muscles. I will seldom be interested in liquor. If tempted, I recoil from it as from a hot flame. I react sanely and normally, and I find that this has happened automatic. This is an unbelievable promise. This is done for me by God's mercy and God's love and God's grace. I don't have to think the drink through, keep it green, remember the pain of yesterday. This is done automatically. Like when a little infant wakes up, mama goes over and feeds him. No one has to leave mom a memo, feed your infant. It's almost instinctual to care for that baby. Huh? This happens automatically. We will see that I will see that my new attitude toward liquor has been given to me without any thought or effort on my part. They're keeping the mind far away from me. Don't worry about thinking it through. Don't have to worry about the pain of yesterday. This is going to be given to me. It's a byproduct of waking up spiritually, entering the world of the Spirit. I'm no longer the person who walked in the door. I don't sound that way, don't look that way, don't think that way, I don't operate that way. This is done for me as a result of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And without, I'm not trying to be controversial. Meetings alone are not going to give you that. They're not. We need to be here. I get to be here. I love being at meetings. But just attending meetings, if you're the real deal, to get this, there's some heavy lifting involved. If I had a car and I got it detailed and it looked immaculate and there was no gas in the car, it's going to sit in the driveway. I need to put gas in the car, and I could drive around town and show everyone how beautiful the car is. So I'm coming to AA meetings, and I look glossy now. I'm nice and shiny. You know, got a job, and I got some new clothes. And for now, with appearances, wow, it looks great. But there's nobody home. I need fuel. Our book says on page 45, lack of power is my dilemma. With power, no dilemma. And somewhere in 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, it'll be the death of self-will and life to the Spirit. I've accessed this power. It doesn't come from me, but it comes to me. Yeah. It's unbelievable how in places the book has gotten to trigonometry, and it's like 1 + 1 = 2. Why didn't I think of that? It's simple. I mean, I spent like 10 minutes in college. I'm not like an educated guy who went to university and comprehend all of this stuff. This is like written for a 5th grader. And the sponsor will walk me through it. This is the miracle, though. I'm not fighting and either avoiding temptation. I feel as though I've been placed in a position of neutrality, safe and protected. I have not even sworn off. Instead, and here it is, the problem has been removed. And Bill goes on to say, it does not exist for us. That almost borders on arrogant. That is the place to call recovered from a seemingly hopeless state of mind and body. Thank God the book didn't say we have a hopeless state of mind and body, because me and us would be doomed. Seemingly, by all appearances, this does not look good. But there's hope. And step 10 says, here it is. You are now free. And all we have to do is not maintain, because that's staying as is, but care for the soul. Which is what 10 and 11 is doing, and giving it away in 12 is caring for the soul, nurturing the soul, getting my soul food. Yeah. Enhancing the experience that has been freely given to me. I have to give God my insurance policy. I have to be on the right political party with God, or the right color, or the right religion. Just God's kid. He has no stepchildren. Here it is. And I keep going there. And then I hit a wall and say, okay, I'll take it. And suddenly my whole life lights up. There are some instructions step 10 tells me to do. They're so simple. It says it should continue for a lifetime. It says we vigorously commence this way of living. Some action words. I've entered the world of the Spirit. Experientially, can I talk to you about what it's like living in the world of the Spirit? By the time I get here, I should be able to. Even if it's at a kindergarten level, I can talk to you about what it's like now compared to my first few months in here. Envy and sloth and anger and greed and gluttony and love. They're not eating at me like they were when I walked in the door. Someone does something great, applaud. Way to go. You've worked just as hard as I have. God bless you. Go. Not seething like SOB. He did it. How come not me? And here's my 10th step. I continue to watch. We were given an assignment. It sounds a little radical or extreme. We were given an assignment. Take the word watch, look it up in the dictionary to observe, because we didn't have Google back then. Look it up in the dictionary. What does watch mean? And then meditate on the word watch till further notice. So in the morning, a bunch of us who were sponsored by Mark, our assignment was in the morning Sit with the word, watch, and see what happens. He says, we needed to get into this has to get into you at a cellular level, he would say. That was Mark Houston. Watch. Continue to watch. For self, in me, not you. In selfishness, dishonesty, resentment, and fear. When these crop up, not if, because they were going to crop up. I'm broken and flawed. That's my condition. I go to God first, discuss them with someone immediately. So what we do, and I still have it, immediately, guys. They don't sponsor me, but they have spiritual consent. So maybe I'll go to Thomas. Thomas, can I call you now and again with an inventory? Thomas says, yes. So I call him, Thomas, I got an inventory. And I given him permission now to call me out on stuff. Spiritual consent. So I can't get the sponsor. I have a couple of guys I got it immediately. I'm hooked on something. And that keeps the river flowing and keeps the eraser board fairly clean. And I find myself traveling okay. Yeah, I was really annoyed this morning at 9. I call up Maddie. We went through this. It's 2 o'clock, and that was this morning. Yeah, I don't know what was going on. I discussed it with someone. I found I owe someone an amends, too. Oh, talks about that. If I owe someone an amends at once, immediately go make the amends, not 90 days. I turn my thoughts to someone I can help, and then we have a code to live by. It's called love and tolerance. I didn't know what tolerance meant. Unconditional love. Tolerant meant I'm going to enjoy you while I'm tapping my foot waiting for you to leave. No, that's not what it means. If I see someone, for example, maybe inappropriate in a meeting, my job as an elder statesman is to go over and say, hey, we don't do that here. Leave the ladies alone. We don't do that here. Or some meetings, when you read how it works, and they go 1, step 1, they chant out 2. That's not an AA thing. That's another fellowship, and we don't do that in AA. So I've gone over to new folks, say, we don't do that here. You don't smash the book when they say we smash, that word smash, see people bang it. That's not AA stuff. That's another fellowship. So I go over to these folks and I tell them, because I was just as naive and ignorant to AA when I got here too. When I walked in the door, I had an attitude about ladies. It was a street attitude. Old timer, sponsor says, we don't do that here. I used to do that too. That's tolerance. Instead of banning them and throwing them out, we teach them. Understanding I did the same thing or similar stuff. Tolerance, unconditional love and tolerance. We don't want to lose you. We just want you to kind of go along with what we do. There's a code here. There's a code here. Ladies should feel absolutely safe in an AA meeting. Even if she's the only lady in there, she should feel safe. That's our job, guys. And vice versa. And there's a code of ethics, if you will, in Alcoholics Anonymous, as strange as that sounds. How am we doing? So these are things I learned about love and tolerance of others is my code. My current 10-step, kind of, if you look at step 11, going through the day, agitated and doubtful, weak pause, it kind of like 10 and 11, they crisscross. I don't know why Bill did that, but that's how it is. And my spot check inventory is step 10, the 12 and 12 talks about it. How am I doing during the day? Do I have stuff to clean up? So I was taught, and I still do it, if I think I said something inappropriate, or maybe I missed something, or maybe I was just rude, I need to clean that up like now. So you're free of it, and I'm free of it. And it isn't even an apology. Back to step 9, kind of like an amends. I'm willing to repair this. I've changed. I see it differently now. It was inappropriate. I was wrong. I was rude, whatever it might be. So for me, this is real chopping wood and carrying water right here. How free do I want to be? Do I want to be right with God or not? Because I'm seeking not the blessings of God on the front end. I'm seeking God, and the blessings just seem to follow. I may think I need this, and God says, no, you need that. But until I get right with God, I won't know that. I'm constantly chasing to feel okay. Step 10 bulldozes me right out of the way. The further I get away from me, the better. the freer I am. Less me, more God, less me. And so it's the on awakening, and now I'm going through the day, and I'm looking, spot check inventory. I have a couple of guys I do that with, and it allows me to travel fairly light. There are times when I'm not wearing the world like a loose garment, and life is eating my lunch, and it's always about I'm living in the wreckage of the future. Fear's got me. Fear's always pointing forward. And it's going to be this way. And I know it's going to turn out to be that way. That's that false self guy again. There he goes. He's showing up. And what it does, when I'm in my head, do you ever notice it gives me an idea or a thought about something with the story right behind it, or a narrative that gives it depth and weight. Makes me believe it. Gives me a whole story. I know exactly how it's going to look. And I start to watch it like I'm watching a Netflix miniseries. Next series, next episode. And it just keeps a new chapter. And it takes about 2 hours. And I'm just wave goodbye to me because I'm involved in me again. I need to turn in order to go out. And then every once in a while you get that voice, says, where's this going? I need to call somebody. I need to write the inventory. I need to talk to somebody. I need to make some prayer and get back in the saddle again. And we start over. My dad had a great expression. We put erasers on pencils because we all make mistakes. So, this is good. This is telling me you're going to make mistakes, Pete. Okay, how long you're sober, how much spiritual work you do. We're going to make mistakes and trip over our own feet. And this is what we do. So I get to travel light. Anyway, that's all I got. Peace.